Well, hello everybody. John Ruckman with Living in Maryland. I know it's another video. If you spent more than 5 minutes on Facebook lately, you've probably seen people arguing about Maryland's new gun law. One person says Maryland just banned every Glock. Another person says absolutely nothing has changed. And somewhere in the comments section is a guy posting legal explanations so long that I actually celebrated my birthday twice while reading through them. You actually need a snack to read them. So kind of let's slow this down. Today, it isn't about politics. It's not about telling you what to think. And it's definitely not some legal advice from a realtor standing in front of a camera. It is simply understanding what is actually happening, because whenever Maryland changes the law involving taxes or schools, development, housing, or firearms, people react first and read later. So the new law focuses on what Maryland calls machine gun convertible pistols. The concern lawmakers have is certain semi-automatic pistols can be modified illegal conversion devices, often called switches or auto sears, which can turn them into fully automatic firearms. Now here's where the confusion starts. Those conversion devices were already illegal. The new law further and focuses on certain firearms that lawmakers believe can be readily converted. Because the Glock-style pistols often come up in those discussions, the internet quickly renamed this the Maryland Glock ban. The problem, it's not actually a legal name of the law, and usual nickname spreads faster than the facts. Can you believe that? One of the biggest dates to know is January 1st, 2027. That's when the major provisions are expected to take effect. Between now and then, Maryland State Police are expected to issue additional guidance and identify which specific models may be affected. And honestly, that's where people should start paying attention. Not to Facebook comments, not to your cousin's buddy who says he looked into it. Official guidance matters, because assumptions and firearms laws don't mix very well. And the bottom line, the law exists. The details are still developing, and before anyone panics or celebrates, it's probably worth waiting for the actual regulations before deciding the sky is falling. And in the next part of this, we're going to talk about why relocation buyers moving to Maryland are suddenly asked questions about the law.
Right as of right now, the biggest thing to watch isn't another Facebook argument. Maryland State Police are expected to issue regulations and publish guidance identifying which of these specific firearm models may be affected under the new law. I heard Glock has already made adjustments. That information matters for owners, dealers, for buyers, and especially for people relocating into Maryland. Because one thing I've learned after helping more people move to this state over the last 21 years is this: the rules from your old state don't automatically come here with you. Maryland has its own laws, its own regulations, its own quirks, its own process, its own arguments, and understanding those differences before you move here can save you, you guessed it, a lot of headaches. The other thing to watch is the legal process itself. Court challenges are already part of the conversation. NAR is already suing. And laws often evolve as cases move through the courts. Sometimes they survive unchanged. Sometimes they get modified. Sometimes enforcement details shift. That's why anyone directly affected should rely on official information and qualified legal advice. Not rumors, not social media, not headliners, not politicians with one-liners, and definitely not the guy online who wants to start every sentence with, "Trust me." Now, some Maryland residents see a law like this and immediately start talking about moving. I get it, and I've had those conversations. Others have been threatening to leave Maryland since about 1997, before Skippy was a pup, and they're still here. Both groups exist. The truth is, moving states is a major financial decision, and no one should make that decision based solely on one issue. Every state has trade-offs. Maryland has trade-offs. Pennsylvania definitely has trade-offs. Virginia has trade-offs. Even that state your neighbor keeps talking about moving to has its trade-offs. The key is understanding the full picture before making a decision. And that's what really this channel is all about. Helping people just like you understand what life in Maryland actually looks like. It's the good, it's the bad, and it's traffic on 95. Know what you were thinking about, right? The ugly? And yes, occasionally laws that make headlines. I'm John Ruckman with Living in Maryland. If you're thinking about moving to Maryland, moving out of Maryland, buying, selling, or just figuring out your next chapter, you can reach out. And remember, no matter what Maryland argues about this week, we're still probably going to end up sitting in traffic looking at each other tomorrow morning. One thing that kind of surprises me about Maryland residents is how many relocation buyers actually ask questions that have absolutely nothing to do with buying houses. Sure, they ask about bedrooms and they ask about bathrooms, but they also ask about taxes, vehicle inspections, they ask about schools, business regulations, landlord laws, and yes, of course, firearm laws. Because when someone moves to a new state, they're not just buying a house. They're buying into a whole entirely different set of rules. For example, someone moving in from Pennsylvania may be used to one legal environment. A buyer coming in from, say, Virginia or West Virginia, Florida, Texas may be used to something completely different. Then they arrive in beautiful Maryland and discover that things operate differently. And that's not necessarily a good or bad thing. It's just reality. I mean, for some buyers, firearm regulations are near the bottom of the list. They're focused on like schools, commute times, healthcare, or finding a backyard for their dog. Love my dogs. They're running around here somewhere. For others, firearm ownership is a major part of their lifestyle. Military veterans, hunters, collectors, competitive shooters, responsible gun owners. I'm one of those. I believe in 2A. And for those folks, understanding Maryland laws matters before they even move. And honestly, I think it's fair. A relocation conversation should cover the whole picture, not just the house. A beautiful home can still be wrong move if the overall environment doesn't fit your lifestyle. I had buyers spend an hour discussing garage sizes and neighborhood amenities, only to realize later they never researched the state laws that impacted their daily lives. This still surprises me, and it still surprises me that it happens. My job isn't to tell people what should matter to them. My job is to help them understand that they're moving into an area that might not fit their needs. The right state for one family may be, completely wrong for another one. And guess what? That's okay. It's okay. The goal is finding the right fit for everybody, not just winning an argument online. Can you feel me? I can really appreciate the strong commitment. So the question is where will this law affect Maryland home values? Will this affect Maryland major laws? Whenever a major law changes, somebody eventually asks me the same question. John, is this going to affect home prices? The short answer, probably not in a dramatic way. Home values tend to respond to much bigger forces like, inventory, interest rates, employment, income growth, school reputation, neighborhood demand and housing supply, and commute patterns. These factors move the market far more than any one single law. Now, that doesn't mean laws don't matter. Over time, state policies absolutely influence where people choose to live. There's no doubt about it. Some people move because of taxes. Others move because of job opportunities. Some relocate for retirement. Others move closer to family. And every move is a combination of all those factors. This law may become one small factor for one small group of buyers, but for most people, affordability, location, schools, jobs, and lifestyle will still dominate their decision and the decision-making process. The better question isn't whether one law will crash the Maryland housing market. It won't. It absolutely won't. But the better question is whether Maryland's overall environment matches your priorities and profiles. For some people, the answer is yes. For others, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Virginia, or West Virginia may align better with what they're looking for. And that's been a true long before this law ever came along. Real estate really is about your lifestyle. So when you buy a house, you're also choosing commute, your tax structure, your local government, your neighborhood, your culture, and your daily routine. That's why I always focus on fit. The right house in the wrong environment can still become, you guessed it, the wrong environment.